Hello, I'm Harry Riley. Welcome to Harry's 10-Minute Tales. This is called The Clay Pipe by Harry Riley. This story is fiction, and resemblance to anyone, living or dead, is coincidental. Are we there yet? Have a bit of patience, please. Young Richard Parsons was getting too excited as he fidgeted on the back seat of his Uncle Bob's shooting range. This antique vehicle, with its metal panels and polished wooden framing, was an early form of estate car called the Morris Traveller. Richard loved this car with its spoked steering wheel, bulbous nose and rounded body. He thought of it as an old English bulldog, crouching and ready to pounce. He would have one like it, just like it one day if they were still around. In the boot were a spade and a metal detector, and they were off for a day's hunting in Farmer Noak's half-acre field, by the water meadow at Findlay Crags. That's an Iron Age settlement. Richard was 10 years old and had been looking forward to this outing for weeks. They were now approaching Findlay village, and this was a bright and cloudless summer day. They had permission from the good-natured farmer to hunt for buried treasure, and Richard's head was brimful, dreaming of ancient swords, gold and silver coins. Farmer Noakes had once stumbled upon a silver bracelet turned up by the plough, so they believed things were there, just waiting to be discovered. Uncle Bob had bought this new Gold Ranger detector that could ignore the low-value stuff like rusty nails and can tops, but would zone in on any possible treasure trove. They parked up in a lay-by, and with Richard carrying the spade and Uncle Bob clutching the detector, they swung open the 5-barred gate into the grassy field. Bob put on the headphones and with an absorbed look on his face started quartering the field, just as the salesman had instructed. Would they have beginner's luck? An hour later, just as a bored Richard was leaping over a deep waterlogged furrow, using the long-handled spade as a vaulting pole, his uncle shouted out, "Hold it! We have something here." "What is it?" "Shush! Quiet a minute. Don't know yet." The sound emitting from the detector had changed from a constant tone to a more urgent beat, beat, beat. "Here, take this and give me the spade." Richard almost fell back into the water hole in his excitement. The hunt was on. Uncle Bob was fit and went to work with a will. They soon had a sizable hole, and then the spade made a metallic clang. Within seconds, a mud-covered wooden box, the size of a small traveller's case with metal strapping and clasp, was brought to the surface, and the catch forced open with a screwdriver. Inside was a folded piece of parchment, bearing a family crest, and written in what Bob explained was Latin, and beneath that was a clay tobacco pipe. It was in good condition, and very ornamental. The bowl of the pipe was deep and dark grey coloured, crafted at the front in the shape of a male oriental face with a long flowing beard and wearing a turban. The eyes were black and staring out of big white irises, and the white stem was carved and slender, with the tip of the mouthpiece made of yellowish horn. One side of the bowl was embossed with the moon and stars, and the other side featured an Arabic symbol. Uncle Bob, a lifelong smoker himself and a school teacher, described it as a Jacob pipe, possibly European about mid-17th century, and probably brought back to England by a seafaring man. He said the pipe had no real monetary value, and Richard could have it as a keepsake or for blowing bubbles. In the meantime, Bob would go and see an archaeologist friend of his to try and decipher the parchment. Richard was disgusted with the bubbles idea, and that was a girl thing, and decided he would give the pipe to Emily, his younger sister. They found nothing else that day, but a month later Uncle Bob called on the Parsons, breathless and all of a fluster, asking to see the pipe. "I found the meaning of the Latin message. It relates to the antiquity of the pipe." To Richard's parents he explained he had located the ancient family of Crosby Smythe by the crest on the parchment. The clay pipe had been the centrepiece of a valuable pipe collection, and since it had been stolen over 2 centuries ago, the family believed they were cursed. So much so that a 200 gold sovereign reward was still on offer to the lucky finder, a substantial sum in today's money. As the curse went, all male heirs would die by the age of 40, and this had proved fatally true. Emily was instantly dispatched to retrieve the delicate artefact, being chased by Waffles the pet spaniel. "She's lost it, I know she has. What a fool I was to give it away. I should have hung on to it myself." Luckily, after a mad panic of desperate hunting, this item was eventually discovered deep in the garden sandpit, thankfully still intact. The full reward was paid to Uncle Bob and suitably shared out. The clay pipe was returned to pride of place in the collection, and the cursed family looked forward to a blissful life of longevity and peaceful procreation. End.